Jillian tells you to trust your gut, to follow that feeling in your chest like it's truth. That sounds strategic until your feelings lie. When your heart says stay, but the evidence says leave, one of them is lying. And my system was built to find out which. I'm not here to play nice with intuition. I'm here to test it. I'm Soke. I built evidence-based thinking, EBT, to protect my daughters. Now I use it to protect women like you. So today, we're putting Jillian Turecki's method on trial. Her advice says trust. My advice says test. Never trust. Always verify. And once you see them side by side, you'll never confuse emotion with proof again. Let's start with why her approach fails the very women it claims to protect. Because when women follow feelings instead of facts, they don't just lose time, they lose trust in themselves. Coming up, you'll see 3 moments where intuition collapses under pressure. The gut that guessed wrong, the courtroom test that exposes emotional logic, and the proof that turns panic into peace. For years, women were told to trust their gut. It sounded empowering, but it quietly trained them to stop verifying.
I think in the last couple of years, definitely in the last year, for sure, I have been very committed to just following my instincts and following my intuition. And it never leads me astray. And so I think that that's where when I do that, that's where I feel most powerful.
That's not coaching. That's being really confident in a guess. She claims intuition never fails. That's her first NTAV failing. When you lead with never, you already stop checking. NTAV rule number 1, feelings only guess. Evidence always proves. Jillian calls that feminine power. NTAV calls it emotional sleepwalking. Hope disguised as confidence. All stories are drawn from my client's notes. The name Shania is used to protect confidentiality. Shania met 2 men in the same week. One made her heart race. We'll call him Spark. The other was calm. We'll call him Steady. Jillian's rule says follow your gut, that instinct, that feeling. NTAV says wait and watch. Never trust, always verify. 2 weeks later, Spark guy vanished. Steady guy kept his word. 4 times straight. That's enough evidence to keep exploring the relationship. That's verification, not a feeling. That's confidence built on evidence. That's what never trust, always verify looks like in real life. NTAV means you can feel it, but the evidence decides what happens next.
Regardless the circumstance, every single one of you are watching this or listening to this, do not agree to any agreement in a relationship that makes you feel terrible and anxious. Whether it's non-monogamy, whatever it is, if it feels terrible to you, it is not right for you. And you don't have to question yourself about why it feels terrible. You don't then have to gaslight yourself into questioning yourself. Believe yourself, trust yourself, and get rid of this guy.
Now emotion becomes law. She tells women not to question, just act. That's NTAV violation number 2. That's when emotions start calling the shots. A bad feeling is information, not instruction. NTAV rule number 2. Pause, record, verify. Don't confuse the alarm, your feelings, with the truth. Shania was dating a man who started pulling back. It felt awful to her. Her gut said he was losing interest. Jillian's method says, end it now. Trust that feeling. NTAV says, pause and talk. She asked him, what was going on? He said, work stress, but I'm still in this. So she watched what he did next. 4 follow-throughs, 1 canceled date. He wasn't ghosting, he was under pressure. That's verification, not a feeling. That's confidence built on evidence. Never trust, always verify, turns panic into peace. But to see how dangerous that confusion really is, Let's put Jillian's method on trial. For real. Imagine this. Your loved one has been arrested and charged for a serious crime. They're facing 25 years to life. The judge asks the prosecution, "What's your evidence?" The DA says, "Your Honor, I have been very committed to following my instincts and intuition. It never leads me astray. I just know in my heart and in my bones that they are guilty." Would that convince you? Would you let your loved one spend life in prison based on Jillian's method? If that logic can't hold up in the courtroom, why are women using it to decide who gets access to their heart? That's the danger when feelings run the courtroom. It sounds human until you test it under real pressure, and every time it collapses.
The kind thing to do is to be honest with yourself and to be honest with another person, and not to let things drag on when you know in your heart and in your bones that it's wrong.
Now the heart stops guiding and starts deciding. That's NTAV violation number 3, when feelings take over and we call it truth. But the heart can say it's fear just as easily as it can say it's fact. How can we tell the difference? NTAV rule number 3, listen, then check. Emotion is a hint, but definitely not the answer. Shania swore she could feel it in her bones. Her boyfriend was sleeping with his ex again. That feeling was overwhelming. Her chest was tight. Her stomach was in knots. She called him. He rejected the call. She called again. He answered, but she heard a woman's voice in the background. Her heart screamed. It was him and her. Jillian's rule? Leave. NTAV? Log the feeling and verify. She drove to his house and she saw a strange car in the driveway. Her hands shook as she walked to that door, ready to confirm what she thought she knew. He opened the door. Inside was his sister, crying on the couch. He had been comforting her through a breakup. That's verification, not a feeling. That's peace grounded in evidence, not assumption. That's what NTAV, never trust, always verify, looks like in real life. Your heart may scream leave, but NTAV whispers, wait, verify first. Every it felt right story that ends wrong starts here. Trust your gut first and never verify it. This is what every untested feeling can take from you. Your energy, your trust, your peace. NTAV flips it. Verify first, then trust what has been proven. Because certainty without verification is just belief pretending to be truth. You've seen both methods side by side. One runs on emotion. The other runs on evidence. I've made my case. Now it's your turn to test it. Take the proof you've seen here and measure it against your own life. See which one still stands when the emotions settle. To the daughters, you saw it. Jillian Turecki's method sounds good until you test it. That's where her followers get caught. It's not their fault. They didn't know any better. Until now. She says trust your gut, but when you put that advice under pressure, it breaks. Feelings can guide, but only evidence can prove. NTAB isn't just for use on men, it's for everything. Use it on his words. Use it on Jillian's words. Use it on mine. Use it on every voice that claims to help you. If it's solid, it will stand up to the test. If it's weak, it will crumble. That's how you protect your peace without closing your heart. You've learned too much to go back to guessing. You don't need perfect timing, just proof. You don't need to be sure. Just watch. Every time you verify before you trust, you rebuild that part of you that doubt tried to break. Don't believe first. Verify first. Then decide what has earned your trust. Let the evidence lead the way.